Hi, I'm Neil with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today, we're doing the install on the 2008 Ford Super Duty. This is an awesome looking set with the caramel Sof-Touch diamond stitch for the insert, charcoal Sof-Touch for the trim. Front and back on this crew cab, it's gonna look awesome. Let's do this install. So we're getting started on this 2008 Ford Super Duty install. First piece that we're going to do is the hard console lid cover. This is a set of bucket seats in the front with a hard console, and the rear seat is a 60/40 split bench, the center armrest. Now I do have the rear 40 section installed and the passenger seat, front passenger seat installed already, and what we're going to be working on is the driver front seat, and then that rear 60 section, and then also this hard console lid cover. This hard console, you can see that it slopes forward like that, whereas the back side is a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to get my cover out and I'll actually see that one side slopes a little bit more than the other, so that's how I'll orient myself. Okay, there's going to be the front, and this rear is pretty much a straight 90-degree angle back, and I'll start just fitting this over. There's two Velcro straps that I'll strap up underneath that. Now that I've stretched the cover on top of the console, what I need to do is lift this up and attach up this Velcro. Again, there's two straps up at the top and then down below, and I'll attach those two pieces of Velcro now. Okay, I've attached that Velcro. Now you can see that right there. There's the top piece, bottom attached, the sides all covered there. Comes around and covers that backside back here as well. Now we're going to install the driver backrest piece here. So I have the cover, there it is right there. There's going to be a felt front to it, and it's going to reach around to the back side to this Velcro right here. So that's gonna pull through the front, and those two are gonna attach together. So I have this pulled over the seat now, and you can see I haven't pushed this felt through yet. But what you're gonna wanna do is, before you do that, take your time really snugging this down by pulling on this side, pulling down there, come to the other side, pull this one down, just to make sure those shoulders are really fitting in well on both sides, and it comes up right around like that, okay? So now that I've done that step, now it's time to take this and push it through the seat. Now this is one part you may want to wear some gloves, just because these can be pretty tight spots between seats right here, and kind of scrape up your hands a little bit. So you may want to throw some gloves on for this part right here. And if it's really tight, some seats you may want to use either like a piece of plastic, or you can use some cardboard to help kind of reduce the friction. But this one, since it's leather seats, it actually is not too bad to just push that through. Now, if you want to increase the space that you're going to push through, pull your lever to bring the seat forward, and that actually increases the space there a little bit more. Now that I have this pushed through right here, the next step is to take this felt that has been pushed through and then attach it to this Velcro underneath this seat. Okay, so you're gonna have to push that up and attach it in there. Now, what I like to do is take one hand while pushing right here as tight as I can to get any slack out of the front side, pushing that down, and then holding with one hand right there and taking my other hand around the other side and then pulling it up and attaching on the Velcro. If you have two people to do that step, that's helpful, because then you can have one person pushing right here, the other person kind of pulling on the back side, and then attaching the Velcro down there. So I have that attached now on the back side. You can see the front should be nice and tight to the seat. You might have a little space between the seat cover and the seat, but not a lot. And this one snugs down nice and tight. You can see how it holds nice and tight right there. I'll show you a back view here in a second. So here is the back side right here. You can see this Velcro is stuck down to that felt right underneath there, and they've about come to right where that seat cover material is. Pretty tight. I've hold that pretty snug right there. So that's about how it should finish out right there on the back side. Now this particular material that you're seeing is black Dura Easy Care, and the reason that that is shown is because when you opt to do the special ops package here on the back side, then you need to do it in a canvas material, and so this customer chose to do black Dura Easy Care for the canvas on the back. Now that we've finished the driver backrest, it's time to move on to the driver bottom. And one thing to note, really important step, is before you start the driver bottom, especially where these are electric seats, raise the seat up as high as it'll go. That's going to give you as much space underneath the seat as possible and be able to give you more space to pass the straps through. So here's the driver bottom cover. Tapers in like that on the outside, and then on the inside here, it's real deep right there. And then also we have a driver's side pistol holster on here. And so what we're gonna do is just fit this around first, kind of get it around the front edges, and then we're gonna push this through right here. The straps and buckles are gonna go through, and then this string, I'll show you where to put that string once we're ready for that. Now I have the front corners pulled over right there, and this I've tucked into that side trim plastic right there. Now for this string right here, what we need to do is you take that string, and a lot of newer vehicles, I pass them down through right here on this outside. But on this particular vehicle, we need to go on just the inside of this spring right here. Okay, we're gonna go on just the inside of that and run the string, because that's gonna keep this as tight to the seat and next to the original material as possible. So we're gonna start pushing that through. Take that string, it's gonna get tucked around towards the back. It's gonna tie off to the other side back there. Now I've used my trim tool to kind of push this underneath that spring right there as well. So that'll help. And a lot of the times this is a little bit more covered, but on this older truck, you can see this plastic trim on the outside is older and starting to break right here, and it probably should be completely replaced. And so anyhow, it's just hanging down a little further. Normally this would be a little bit higher and kind of covering a little bit more of that. But either way, that it's for the seat cover though, so you can see that's where you need to push that cover. The string has been passed around to the back side now. This all kind of just gets tucked in there and then is hidden by that trim right there. Next step is to take this Velcro on the back side right here and stick that down to the carpet. And what I like doing is actually staying on the front side and taking one hand, pulling on the front, and then also one hand pulling on the back, and then just laying that down as I've been pulling on the front as well to kind of take out any extra slack. But either way, you just need to get that stuck down, and then we're gonna move on to the straps to buckles. This is what I was meaning to explain earlier there, was that I'll take one hand right here and pull the cover like that, and then take my other hand and reach around behind and pull that one. So then I'm just trying to pull out as much slack, and also make sure that I don't pull this too far back when I'm attaching that Velcro. It's lining up there right on the front side. Now this middle strap right here, this will actually go underneath the seat to a solid bar and then go back to the buckle. Now, I don't typically like to use this bar because this bar actually moves with the seat a little bit as you move it up and down. It wouldn't be a bad one to go with, but there is another bar. It's a spring, actually, kind of a metal, thinner bar underneath the seat that I went to, and then I'm going back to the buckle right here. And it's important when you do these buckles that you go through the middle slot first. See if I can do this one-handed while I hold the camera. You need to go through this middle slot first, right there, and then you need to go through this outside slot. The outside slot is the one that has the teeth on it, and I'll just show you. This one right here, so through the middle slot, then the outside slot, that one has the teeth, and then that's gonna keep it nice, snug down tight. Now this one, you snug that down, and that makes sure that the seat never slides forward. Now we call that the safety strap. And It's a great way just to make sure it never slides forward. Not as crucial on this truck because there's a nice carpet backing back here and Velcro that keeps it from ever sliding forward as well, but just an additional cover or another install piece to make sure it never moves forward on you. Now that I've cinched up that middle strap, it's time to do these two outside straps right here. So again, here's the buckle, and then the strap is gonna go through it, and there it is right there. And now when you cinch those up, or better, when you're passing these back, you wanna go take the strap and pass it through as high to the seat as possible, so that way you avoid compressing any kind of strap or any kind of cables or cords underneath your seat as much as possible. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but if you can, that's better. And especially like this housing, you definitely wouldn't want to go below that, just because the seat needs to move up and down. So again, that's the reason why you want to take that strap and go as high, close to the seat there as possible, right here, and then go into that buckle and cinch that down. Now, when you're cinching these two down, what can be nice is if you have someone on the front of the seat compressing the seat down, or even sitting on the seat, to just give it a little bit more pressure to help take some of the slack out as you put that down. So you can either have somebody come by and do that, and sometimes you can do it by yourself if you're on the front side and take one hand and pull with the have one hand compressing, one hand pulling. That can do it too. Now it's time to fasten up the straps, buckles, string underneath the seat. So this string right here came from the back, or from the inside of the seat, and I've actually curved it in right before this seat belt right there, and so that actually curves around the seat real nicely like that. And so I have that pull it in right here, and I've tied a little loop in one side. This other side right here, here's that string that we fed through, and so now I can pull this. I'm gonna pull this right around the corner of the seat like that, and then it's gonna get kind of sucked up underneath after I do these straps. Then I'm gonna take this over, go through this one right here, and then just pull that snug. It doesn't have to be super tight on this string right here, but I'll pull that snug, tie that off, and then start doing the buckles and straps. So I have those straps all cinched up now. It was a little tough to do, honestly, because there's not a lot of space underneath here with this electrical cord. So I definitely would recommend having somebody like compress on the front side and seeing if you can pull on the back side, cinch that up. I was able to do it by myself by just kind of laying on this portion right here, and then reaching underneath and then grabbing right there and pulling backwards towards me. It was pretty tough. It was a pretty tight spot right there. So now that the bottom's all done, now we can actually move to the front seats are all done. Passenger installs the same way. Now we can move to the rear row. Now we're working on the 60 section backrest. First thing you need to do is pull out your headrest cover, or your headrest, and you just push that button in right there, and then also on this other side, and then your headrest will pull out. So get that out of the way. And then also you can take this middle seat belt right here just to get it out of the way, and you can push that button right there, and you gotta get like a pin and you push that in, and then it'll release that. Kind of just gets that out of your way. We'll put the backrest on first, and then we'll do the armrest cover here, and then we'll finish with the bottom cover and the headrest cover. So throughout this install on this backrest, I'm gonna be using this lever here to pull the seat forward and back to just kind of get it in the right positions for where I need it to pull the cover over. Here's my cover sitting over here, and we're just gonna first just get it pulled over. And before we attach any Velcro down, we're just gonna get pulled over and then do these headrest pieces right here. Now what you're gonna wanna do is, as you're pulling this down, there's this cutout here for this handle, and I've found that if you actually put it in the upright position, that handle will flip back up, and then it'll be an easier position for you to start to pull that down over through. And you're just gonna pull that down, and then it's just gonna pop over that piece right there. So I got that tucked around right here, pulled it around, just popped over that. Okay, and now it's time to do the headrest post pieces, and this is how it finishes out. So it's gonna start like this, and you need to take your plastic trim tool and just work that around, to kind of leverage that around like that, and then you're gonna tuck that underneath it, okay? Now I've tucked those both around, so that's great there. And I have both these shoulders kind of fitting over the seat now, so that's looking good. And the next step is to take this felt here and push that underneath in the seat crevice there, around and back, and then we'll finish this by taking this armrest piece and finishing that out. Now that I've pulled this felt through the seat right here, I'm gonna attach it to these Velcro tabs right here. And again, you just wanna pull nice and tight on that and get those stuck together. And you could take one hand and kind of push on the front side to try to take out any extra slack right there, or have one person pushing there as you pull on the other side. But either way, the idea is just to take this felt and get this Velcro stuck down to it right there. Stick those two pieces together. So I have that all stuck down on the back side right there. It came to just about where the two seat cover fabrics come together right there. So we're attached on the back side now. And now what we need to do is get this armrest cover going right here. So we're gonna pull that out. And now this cover right here is gonna come around, and I'm gonna end up tucking this cover here behind. There's this plastic backing back here, and I need to tuck that. It's gonna attach to the carpet, which is really nice. That there's carpets there because that sticks in there, but then also I'm gonna try to get it behind the corners of this back plastic. Start working there, and this is one where you really need to use the plastic trim tool. Helps a lot with that. You're just gonna get this as far back as you can so that it stays nice and tight on the sides here. I'm halfway done doing this armrest section here. Now this is a pretty tough part of the install, honestly. It just gets really tight in here and kind of tough to tuck that around. But what I was gonna say is, what you could do, and you would be fine with this, is just push this back as far as it'll go. You know, kind of like this side, is you could just push it back as far as it'll go and just stick it to the cloth right there, just on the edge. And that's gonna be the easier way to do it. I'm going the hard route on this one, and just trying to get it tucked a little bit more behind there. It's looks nice when it's done. It just takes a little bit more time. You have to be careful on this corner as you're pushing this through right here, that you don't chip that or bust your plastic right there. So you just take your time as you're doing it. I'll finish this one here in a second, couple minutes, and show you how it looks when it's all done right there. But again, the easier way to do this would just be push it back and then just kind of stick it down to the Velcro, or to the Velcro to the cloth like that, and that would be fine as well. Now I have that all tucked in, so it's tucked around there on the sides, right there. Again, I pushed that in a little bit farther than you might need to, just get it behind that back plastic wall right there. You could just push it as far as it'll go, and then just stick it to that cloth. Again, that's gonna be the easier way to install that. And it's gonna be tight. When I get this other armrest on, it's gonna be kind of a tight fit there because you've added some additional fabrics, but it should be a nice look still. For this bottom section down here, I just took it right up to that section right up to the edge of the cloth carpet, and just stuck that down right there, and that looks fine right there. And just push it up against the sides as far as it would go. I didn't try even tucking it underneath that because it's already pretty tight right there. Now we're gonna do the center armrest cover. So we're gonna get this pulled over. Here's that cutout for the pull tab. And we'll get it pulled through, and then this Velcro is gonna attach on the back side here. Once you have it pulled through right here, before you could attach the Velcro before or after this, but make sure you tuck the cover underneath the plastic tray right here. Okay, the armrest is done now. I've tucked it in here, and attach that Velcro on the back right there. So it is going to be a tighter fit now that we have extra fabric, especially when it's the simulated leather fabric. And so you have to kind of jam it in there a little bit, and that's about how it fits right there. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the 60 section bottom. Now we're starting the 60 section bottom, and here's the cover. So it's gonna have Velcro, hook Velcro on both sides, and it's actually just gonna pull over, and there's some carpet on the back side that it's gonna stick down to. And so it pretty much just goes over it like that. Well, I'll start fitting it on. So I've started to pull this over, and now to get a little better fitment, I'm actually going to take this outside trim piece off. Just a Phillips head screwdriver to take that off. And there's gonna be a little hole right here that we're gonna need to punch through the cover once we get it pulled on. But I'm gonna finish pulling this in a little bit more, and then punch a hole, and then finish, and then put that back on after. So now that'll allow me to pull back a little bit further. You wouldn't technically have to do that, but I'm gonna do it just to get it a little bit better installed here. So I got this cover pulled over and installed down now, and what you can see is it pulls over the full bottom coverage underneath that. And now I'm just gonna put this piece back on here and over that. It just allowed me to pull it a little bit further back by doing that. And I'm just gonna feel where the hole is, and there it is right there. I can feel the indentation right there. So I'm gonna just take my scissors and just push in right there, make a small little hole, little incision, and then put that trim piece over it again. Okay, got that on now. Took that Phillips head screw and just screwed it back in. Now we're just gonna finish out doing the headrest cover. Headrest cover is pretty simple. You're gonna have this hook Velcro on the front side on this one, and I'm just gonna pull it over. Now what I'm gonna do is compress down the headrest as I do this. Take one hand, compress, and then take the other hand and fit the cover on. There's the cover halfway on right now. Again, just compressing that down to fit this over it here. Now I have the headrest on, so you can see the side, back, bottom view. I'm gonna finish pulling that Velcro a little tighter, and there's the front view. And that's it for the headrest. Okay, I pushed that headrest back in now, so that's all finished. And that's it for this install. The 40 section back here installs the same way as that 60. You don't have to deal with the middle armrest again, just that on the 60 section, but everything else is the same. And that's it for this install. Good job. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, this has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. To see more, go to coversandcamo.com. Awesome looking sets there. Be happy to give you our recommendation if you contact us, and we'll get a set built for your vehicle. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and side-by-sides. So there's a good chance that if you have a vehicle, we can get seat covers for it. Give us a call at coversandcamo.com. Thanks.